If you love Stardew Valley and The Sims 4, then this video is just for you. We're going to be recreating the amazing Caroline from Stardew Valley right here in The Sims 4. I have such a soft spot for Caroline, and I am really so excited to begin this journey with you. As always, I'll be doing all of this without any additional mods other than the Create a Sim background you see here. No major changes that you couldn't just have with base game. So let's jump right in. Okay, before we start building her in The Sims 4, let's take a quick look at Caroline. She's the wife of Pierre and the mother of Abigail in Stardew Valley. Caroline is super warm, loves her family, and has a strong sense of personal style, so we want to capture all of that in her Sims 4 makeover while still giving her that fashionable Sims 4 look that you see in my other character restylings. But let's start with the basics, creating your sim. I start all of my Sims off super basic and, well, bald. So this lovely bald woman here doesn't look much like Caroline now, but she will by the end, I promise. So the first thing we need to do is find the perfect face shape and skin tone for Caroline. She's got these kind of soft features with a more round face and this really gentle expression, sort of motherly. So sometimes the pre-generated Sims faces are a little weird, but this one is actually quite pretty. We're just going to have to do a little bit of tweaking to give her a more realistic, mature look. So we're going to adjust her facial features to give her that lovely, approachable look. And you'll notice I also went ahead and made some body shape adjustments. Although she's just a smattering of like pixels in Stardew Valley, I imagine her to be a little more on the slender side, but also still have a softer look. Caroline has a kind, smiling expression most of the time, so we'll pick a warm and friendly face. We'll tweak the eyes to make them a little more relaxed, and then give her those like soft cheekbones and a gentle jawline to keep it all in line with her Stardew look. I do spend a lot of time going back and forth here, making tiny modifications to give her a more natural appearance. That's part of the reason why I keep rotating her to check on her profile. It's super easy in Create a Sim to accidentally make a sim that looks really, really, really good from the front, but when you turn them to the side, they look super bizarre. So I continuously move them back and forth to really check on that profile and make sure I'm not making some weird creature when you turn it to the side, because it really is super easy. So this face may not look like much right now, and that's partly because the makeup is really important to making a sim look great, even if it's a male character. If you look at my male Stardew recreations, they all actually do have makeup on. It's just the opacity's changed a little bit so that it looks more like a natural shading on their faces. I love this blush in particular, this one right here, because of its natural gradient. It's not available unless you buy a pack, unfortunately, but the matte gradients also work well. I just like this one because it's a little bit brighter. If you alter the opacity a little bit on this one, you'll find it makes a really natural blush, or like a flush that looks more modern and more natural. And when I was doing that, I noticed a bit of other features that still needed some tweaking, like adding her iconic green eyebrows and adjusting the eyes and some more things like that. But back to the importance of makeup, let me show you my trade secret. If you go into the makeup category and scroll down just a little bit, you'll see this tile here that doesn't look like much of anything. It's actually a face paint. However, if you click on it, it adds a stunning highlight to the nose and the eyes of your sim to give them a more three-dimensional look. For younger characters like Abigail, Leah, Maru, I like to really maximize the glow it can offer to act as like a highlighter. But since Caroline is more mature, she's a mom, she's seen some stuff, and she's really an established woman, I'm gonna tone it down a lot. like a lot here, enough that there's still a highlight and it looks natural, but not like she's doing her makeup at 4 a.m. before she goes and opens the store for Pierre, because we all know she's running that place. Then it's just a matter of finding the right eyeshadow. You don't have to have bold makeup to give depth to the face. I like to choose one of the blended out eyeshadow looks that covers like a lot of the eye, and then use the opacity and saturation sliders to soften the overall look, so it looks more like a natural shadow instead of hard on eyeshadow. Then I'm going to add in a little bit of facial details after settling on makeup. Caroline is older and probably spends quite a bit of time in the sun due to her love for her sunroom. A very beautiful sunroom, I might add. I'm using some light freckles and also like a soft smile line to reflect that little bit of skin damage that she would have from being in the sun for so much. Because although I feel like she's a conscientious woman, she probably doesn't actually wear that much sunscreen since she's indoors. This way she still looks youthful, but not like that eerie, I'm 40 years old and still look like I'm in my early 20s sort of situation. Next up, hair. So Caroline's signature look is this cute green pigtails, but they're not really available in The Sims. There's like a comparable option in the updos that you'll see here, but they're very short pigtails and they're a little bit young for her. Actually, they're a lot of bit young. Moving on. Because of that, I took some creative liberty here and chose the fuller braids with bangs to mirror her more iconic profile. It's a little bit different, but it's still effortless and it still looks chic. It adds a lot of personality too, I think, to her just look overall. So we'll keep it here for now. Now let's do some last minute checks because I get really picky. I'm just zooming out here to make sure her features are giving the effect that I want them to have. I'm not super happy with her chin and jawline, so I'm gonna go back in and do some fine tuning. She looks a little too much like my Leah remake, and I would prefer she look more like Abigail since that's her daughter. I also think her makeup isn't quite warm enough to match that idea that she has a little bit of sunburn. So I'm gonna go back and add some more color to her cheeks so it looks more like she spends quite a bit of time outdoors, or at least in the sun. So then let's talk about the outfit. This is where things get a little tricky. She's usually seen wearing like this striped top, a long blue skirt, and she has this little gold chain around her neck. We're gonna mix in a bit of Sims flair while staying true to her original style. The key is that cozy down to earth vibe while still remaining super stylish. I imagine Caroline to kind of be that mom who is always up to date with the current style, that sort of woman who walks into the room, everyone turns their attention to her, and she kind of snatches you. So here's our base look, complete with a natural looking manicure and socks. They're absolutely essential if I want to feel like I'm creating a realistic representation of a character. After that, it's just a matter of creating stylish looks that match Caroline's overall vibe. That can be super tricky and takes a lot of experimentation since we only have sprites for the everyday, winter, and beach styles. But as long as we stay on the more romanticized side of mature and fashionable, I think we'll be right on track. And here's our girl making herself at home in the local coffee shop with a steaming cup of green tea. From the lush landscape of Stardew Valley straight into the hustle and bustle of The Sims 4 without losing any of that Pelican Town magic, we have Caroline. But there you have it, darlings, our precious darling Caroline recreated in The Sims 4. I hope you enjoyed seeing this process and hopefully got a little bit of inspiration to attempt making your favorite characters yourself. Which video game character should I try to recreate next? Are we thinking Pierre? Or are we thinking the wizard? I think the wizard would be an interesting challenge. Or should we do a different game entirely? Regardless, drop your responses in the comments. I'll also pin a comment with that question. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on the fun here. I hope you're having a warm, cozy, and pleasant day, and if you're not, I hope it gets better. As always, thank you so much for watching, darlings. I really appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, XOXO.